Mr. Wiggle's scissors. So this story is gonna be a bit funny. This is Enid Blyton's book, The Donkey on the Sand and Other Stories. Okay, so let's get started. Mr. Wiggle was a tailor who made a lot of money. He lived in Fiddletown and he owned a marvelous pair of scissors that people came miles to see. These scissors were made of pure gold and had a magic spell in them. Wiggle had only to put them down on a piece of cloth and say, "Scissors cut out a dress," or "Scissors cut out a fine pair of trousers," and at once the golden scissors would set to work. They saved Mr. Wiggle a lot of time and trouble, besides giving him a great name for wonderful dress and tunic patterns. Even the Queen of Fairyland had been known to order a special dress from him, but Wiggle wasn't at all vain. He lived in his little cottage and worked hard week in and week out. There was just one thing he wanted he had never had, and that was a chance to be the chief brownie in Fiddletown and sit on the silver chair at the town meetings. But only clever brownies were allowed to do that, and although Wiggle was really a very thoughtful, wise brownie, he was so quiet that no one really thought of him as clever, and he was never voted for when the new chief brownie had to be chosen. Now, one day, a strange piece of news went round Fiddletown. There was one empty house at the end of the village, and someone had taken it to live in, and the someone was a witch. The witch inside Fiddletown? That really was a most extraordinary thing, for witches did not usually come to live near brownies. Brownies hated witch and feared them. This witch was well known. Her name was Grenouille, and you can guess why. She was a wicked, sly creature, always making up strange, cunning magic. She had been banished from the last towns she had lived in, and when she heard the empty house in Fiddletown, she thought it would suit her well and moved in the very next day. "What are you going to do about the witch, Grenouille?" asked the brownies at their next meeting. Mr. Hey-Ho, the chief brownie, sat in the silver chair and looked solemnly at everyone. "Really, something would have to be done," he said, but nobody knew what. "Well," said Hey-Ho, rising from his silver chair, "if anyone thinks of a really good idea,